Go. Recording. Boom. We're in. Okay, hey everybody, and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Politics, Culture, and some other shit. You can follow my anti-monarchist, socialist, pro-United Ireland propaganda on Instagram and on Twitter. And if you want to support, you can do so over at Patreon for £1 a month. There's only one tier. If you want to lend me your support, that would be great. Must tell you, this was supposed to be a live stream, as you know, and I started it at 11 o'clock on time, and I spent hours and hours and hours and hours of the week, like literally when I didn't have hours and hours and hours of the week to give, getting everything together for you. And yeah, everything just went wrong. It just shit itself, and it was a shame because there was a few people in the chat, and there was more people joining, and I think it would have ended up being a good one. And I just had to pull the plug on it. It just didn't work. So, but nonetheless, so we're here now. We're going to do this as a podcast rather than a live stream. And I'm delighted that my friend Darren Matthews is joining me here now. There he is on the screen. Live from Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do they have a royalty in Copenhagen? They
do, which I found out a lot about on my walking tour that I'm just back from. So very interesting compared to monarchy you were watching this morning.
Yeah, I got the whole thing, Darren. Must tell you, I got the fucking the crowning. I got the big coach. I got all, and I had all the information, and I had it all ready to go. So when these things were coming on the screen, I had an article to read about why this thing's a monstrosity and how much it costs and how you should blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and it's just completely fucking wasted. So tell us about the Danish monarchy then.
The Danish monarchy is at the minute it's a little old lady called Queen Margaret II. She's in charge. She's got two sons. They have a tradition here where the firstborn son is either named Christian or Frederick. So they're up to, like, when her son takes over, he's going to be like Frederick the 10th. There's a lot of them. Yeah, so that's the thing. But they are, how would you put it? They're figureheads. They're kind of like the president is in Ireland, like Michael D.
Yeah.
Danish monarchy is, they sign things into law, but they have no actual constitutional power.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that all came from after the French Revolution. The Danish king at the time, there was a whole history thing where he saw what was going on in France, and before the people came for him, he went, "Hey, I've decided you guys make your own political decisions, and I'll just hang around." And they were like, "Yeah, that's fine."
It's funny how the French Revolution motivated a lot of
royal families.
European
the Swedes were the
royal.
Same,
yeah, there was a few who did the same, and the ones that did, but the ones that didn't sort of lost their heads, didn't they?
So that was the Danes. They had turned it over, the Danish royal family. Now, don't get me wrong; they still have some very nice houses, but they're a figurehead, and they actually now go around traveling with representatives of the Danish government as a means to they help secure trade deals because they want to show how important Denmark's relationships are worth the word. So they bring, like, the crown prince with them and be like, "Hey, this is how important you guys are. We brought the prince with us to hang out," and they're like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool."
So it's soft power type stuff.
Yeah, soft power. They sign things into law, and if they disagree with it, well, then it doesn't matter. So, Denmark at present is a socialist government with a female prime minister, very progressive. Some of the highest taxes in Europe, but free education, free healthcare, which is what your taxes are supposed to pay for.
Well, there we go. I mean, everybody listening to this understands the concept of tax and what it's supposed to be used for versus what it actually is used for. So does the Danish royal family, do you know, I know you're not an expert on it, and you've just discovered a lot of this yourself, but is it extended?
It's extended to the point where apparently years ago there was one of the kings had quite a lot of kids, and they were that one of them is seen as kind of the grandfather of Europe because all his kids, kind of similar to what Victoria's children did later, married into princes in Norway and Sweden, and kind of brought up a newer kind of the idea of a European Union sort of thing. So this guy's called the grandfather of Europe. So I found out about that, and then I found out about a thing where Denmark were neutral in the Napoleonic Wars, but they were selling, I think they were selling ships and weapons to Napoleon, and the British didn't like this, so they bombed the city of Copenhagen. Killed 4,000 people. Well done, Britain. And they brought in a law that the Danish couldn't So they took their fleet off them, basically. They brought out a law where the Danish weren't allowed to cut down oak trees to build ships for 200 years. Now, obviously, that's, during the Napoleonic Wars. 200 years later, the British actually did send a decree to the Queen of Denmark saying, "Oh, you can cut down trees. Now that's your 200 years up." Hadn't built a warship out of wood in about 140 years, but they were like, "Work away," and I'm sure the Danish were like, "Fuck off."
I'm sure. Well, to be honest, I would be surprised if the British hadn't bombed Copenhagen. Yeah. Considering they've pretty much fucking bombed everywhere else.
Yeah, but so you watched the whole. I have questions for you because I didn't actually watch the Coronation. I was out doing a walking tour of Copenhagen, beautiful city. Price of drink scandalous, but still very nice.
Surely, yeah.
I have questions. First question: Did Charles he take his face off to reveal he is a lizard, or is that tomorrow?
Well, he might have, because there was a part of the ceremony, believe it or not. And this is why I was so sort of infuriated that I didn't get to, because I was commenting on this stuff, and I would love for you to have been here and been involved in that, but obviously we won't talk about it anymore. There's a bit of the ceremony where soldiers, when they're in Westminster, and the bishops go over to him and they take his clothes off. So he's wearing these big Erskine, like the Lords wear, and whatever, the big fur, whatever an animal in Erskine is, I've no idea, but a big robe, and there's obviously clothes underneath that, and they take them off him, and he's sort of standing there in it's not like a night dress or something, but it's sort of an undergarment.
Yeah.
And then these soldiers come out and they carry, it sounds like I'm making this up, it's actually happened, they carry these screens and they surround him so no one can see, and he goes in and the bishops go in, and apparently they anoint him with an oil and all this sort of stuff.
I know that comes from an older tradition where they used to do that in front of the people. It was stripping you bare to be anointed by the bishops, but obviously now they're like, for discretion for a worldwide broadcast, we're gonna cover Charlie's bits here, like so.
Well, I don't know if they strip him naked, but he's he is sort of unclothed to a point. Yeah. There's nothing. He's not humiliated in any way, but they do surround him and they cover him so you can't see in, and the soldiers all bow their heads so that they can't even sort of peep through a crack or anything like that. So the conspiracy theorists are obviously going to assume that that's where the face unmasking.
Yeah, and then you see he's actually a lizard. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had a couple of questions, things I was thinking about, because I wasn't actually getting to watch it, so I don't really know what it entails. But I was thinking, other stuff as well. Did Prince Andrew have to sit a half a mile away from the choir?
No, he's back in.
Was he
he's fully. The word he wasn't. They weren't prepared to throw any more millions at his alleged. I've got that article actually.
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen for people who's going to be watching this on YouTube.
No.
So put it up there. There it is.
There's that, and then I couldn't believe. I mean, that video that I sent you, where people were saying that Prince Andrew would be more welcome at it than Prince Harry.
Yes, that's insane. That's or there's it there. So I'll put the coronation off. So there's an article on the screen there. So so people know what you're talking about. Prince Andrew settles sex abuse lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre. Though the federal sex trafficking case against Jeffrey Epstein ended with his death, his suicide. He hung himself with a paper shirt or something, didn't he?
Uh-huh.
Several alleged co-conspirators have been wrapped up in litigation stemming from their involvement with the late sex offender. Among the most prominent was Prince Andrew. So, and it ended up, he had to pay, what do they call it? Basically, he had to pay her off.
Yeah.
So that this wouldn't go to court, which is an American thing that you can do that. 5 million or 15 million, I can't remember the figure.
It's a buyout, basically.
It's settlement, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're referring to. So whenever you're saying that Prince Andrew was allowed near the choir, this is obviously what people's concern was. But then you also made the point that Prince Andrew was allowed is, and when he was today, he was there in his full military ceremonial garb, right? And Prince Harry, who was a Apache helicopter pilot in Afghanistan shooting Afghani shepherds, wasn't. And actually, in his uniform, he wasn't allowed to turn up in his ceremonial military gear.
Okay.
Yeah, very odd, very peculiar. And then, but there was a thing there I want to show you as well. Well, I'll explain it to you because you cannot see what I'm doing here. But there was a poll done. Now, this might tell me if this surprised you, because it definitely surprised me. So, if it up on the screen there, it's going to load in. There it is. And it was a poll done by Lord Ashcroft polls, I think they were called. Let me just click that. There we go. Lord Ashcroft polls. I don't know who that is, but nonetheless. And the question is, if there was a referendum tomorrow, how would you vote? Right? So they divided it into the 4 home nations, so England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and the 2 questions are that's the question, and the 2 potential answers are: for my country to remain a constitutional monarchy with King Charles as the head of state, or for my country to become a republic. Right? So England was 50% for the status quo to remain with Charles as head, 57%, and 22% to become a republic, with 21% don't knows. That surprised me. I thought it would be a bit closer than 57 versus 22. Scotland was same questions, 46% status quo to remain, 32% to become a republic. Again, that surprised me a little bit. Wales 54% to 23, very close to the English result. Now this was the one. Now tell me if this surprises you. Northern Ireland. Can I ask you, at a guess, what would you say from a country to remain a constitutional monarchy and from a country to become a republic? What would you guess would be?
For Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
40% to remain the status quo.
Right.
And become a republic. Probably be quite a few don't knows, I'd say, or people not become maybe 40% to become a republic.
You're very close, actually, to be fair. It's 42% for the status quo.
Okay.
And 46% to become a republic. Now, that's the Republic of the United Kingdom. That's not a republic as a reunification. That's not a border poll question.
Yeah, no, that's Northern Ireland to become an independent government. Okay.
No, for the United Kingdom to become a republic.
Oh, right, okay. So they're like, we're going to keep the UK, but take the word king out of it.
Yeah. It's a united dom.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So,
okay.
But that surprised me because we obviously have a unionist, a massive unionist cohort within our demographic, and that kind of surprised me. I thought it would be much closer. I definitely didn't think to become a republic as the United Kingdom to become a republic. As I said, it's not a border poll. I didn't think it would be higher. So of all the home nations, the country that has a clear majority for the United Kingdom to become a republic, it was Northern Ireland.
Oh, okay. Maybe. Well, probably not as. What's it? Not as represented, just from where we are. I mean, obviously there's different political ethos in our place as well, but then like the royals don't really, out of all the countries, they don't really visit much, do they? I don't know if they go to Wales much. I know like they do Christmas in Balmoral. That Balmoral Castle is a big thing for them, so they go to Scotland a lot, but they don't really come over to Hillsborough much, do they?
No, but I don't think. I think that. I don't know. Well, Charles was there last year. Mind, whenever was it last year? Whenever he was talking after his mummy died.
When he was made king, basically, I'd have to. That's the part of the. Like part of her wake was he has to go on tour and meet everybody, and
the next day, boom.
Yeah,
a couple of days, within a couple of days. Yeah. That was it. It was just yeah. So he had to go and do that, and then that was whenever he met. I'm sure. No, I didn't keep it, but there was that moment whenever he asked Michelle O'Neill who Jeffrey Thompson was.
Yes.
That was
your
it.
loyal subject. That's who he
is. He's your biggest fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. I mean, the thing with the monarchy, as you described the monarchy there in Denmark, that is something that you can understand. You can understand. You do need it. You do need a head of state. I do like the elected presidential model that the Republic has, especially if you're going to elect someone like Michael D. You know, if you're going to elect poets and artists and things like that, I think that's fantastic. And even before that, you know, Mary Robinson, very diplomatic and a great soft power head of state and all that. But if you have to have a monarchy, then that Danish model, you can understand it, because you could actually put a figure on the benefit of having them, if you know what if you know what I mean. I read somebody said today on Twitter, you know, the monarchy brings in £23 billion a year in tourism, and people were just like, you need your fucking head felt. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not even close. Not the cost money. There's no way. And then the direct evidence, on the other hand, is that when you go to the French, all the palaces of the French royalty are still in place. Versailles is one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world.
Yeah.
Brings in an absolute fortune, but you don't have to carry the dead weight of royalty to have it.
The big thing with the paranoia about the royals, I think, especially with the British royal family, is that the other problem as well is coming from us, especially the kind of socialism, is that he's a landlord. Like, they're landlords.
Yeah.
Not just like have personal fortune. This is what I didn't get. I was like, if they all have personal wealth, why did Prince Andrew need 12 million off his mommy? But
yeah,
Charles has a massive wealth, and there's a private diamond collection, there's private art collections. These aren't things that are being shown to the public. There's so much.
Yeah.
They could go into, they could go, right, that's me, no more monarchy, and they'll be fine for a lot of generations. They don't need to be king on the public purse. So the annoyance probably was where a lot of people were saying, pay for your own coronation. If you want to be the king, that's fine, but it's not 100 years ago. I think one of the big things as well is, I was chatting to a guy here, and he explained it in Denmark. The Danes, although they have churches and religion, they're not very religious anymore. So how can you follow a monarchy when the whole thing in the UK is Fidei Defensor, which is defender of the faith? You're the head of the Anglican Church. But if nobody believes in God, how can they believe that he chose you to be in charge of me?
But that's a great point.
Yeah.
But I think you
be an atheist and a royalist at the same time.
Well, there you go. Well, apparently, I don't think you can. I think you have to, you have to pretend. You have to play the fucking game, because that's what it all is. It is a game. It's the monarchy is one of the pillars of the establishment. I've got of an article, of a great article. Actually, I'll read it out a wee bit later, because I don't want to. I know you've got a limited time, but there's this. I'm going to put this up on the screen. You can't see it, but I love this. This is fantastic to me, right? But I'll show you. I'll read it out for you. So I've opened a link on Twitter here, and it says the following media includes potentially sensitive content, so you have to choose to see it. You know, when you get those, someone puts a gruesome picture up, or you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm with you.
That's what I've got here, right? I'm going to put the picture on the screen. You won't fucking believe what this is. It's James Connolly.
Okay.
It's James Connolly and a quote about monarchy. That's what the Twitter warning is. So I'll read it out to you. Monarchy is a survival of the tyranny imposed by the hand of greed and treachery upon the human race in the darkest and most ignorant days of our history. James Connolly. And that comes up with a Twitter warning. You've got to click twice to read that. Do you believe that?
Why is that scaring people to read a different opinion?
You tell me. I have no idea. I have absolutely no clue. But this is the point. this institution is a prop of the establishment, probably the most important prop of the establishment. And when you've got, I'm not going to play it on now because you won't be able to hear it, but I got another little sort of supercut of these people that were queued up on the mall all week in all weathers for this, camping out to see this, and then little sound bites from them, and you think these people, they're over the rainbow with us. They say, like, I'm a fan of these, and Prince Andrew was my favourite, and they say, well, you know what he did, right? And like, yeah, but you can see them. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
The one I sent you, where the lady said
that one, the same one,
in a court of law, so it's fine.
Exactly, you did say it. I forgot. Of course, yes, you did send that to me. Exactly that. It's insane, but these people are the prop of the establishment. So it's like, we can't understand as socialists how someone can vote for a right-wing party whenever it's clear that this right-wing party is going to govern in a way that exclusively and deliberately targets you and the money in your pocket, your well-being, your family's well-being, your physical health, your mental health, your long-term, short-term security, and everything that you deem to be important in life. They are actually going to target that. And we can't understand how the working class vote for that as socialists. Well, this is the same. How can you be a normal person? And most of the people at this and watching this and cheerleading this are normal people. The vast majority, let's say, judging by that poll, 50% of the population, if you add all those numbers up, it actually comes to 49.7% or something like that. So it's roughly 50% of the population are in favour of this establishment and this prop of the establishment, when it's so clearly and demonstrably corrupt. They haven't been put here by God. They're at best dupes, at worst criminal sex offenders that have to pay off victims, teenage girls, to hide their crimes, and you sit there and you excuse it? How?
I think maybe it could be. It's a social conditioning or an upbringing thing as well. Watching the Queen's speech at Christmas or that whole thing. Whereas maybe you and I were brought up. I was always brought up to be told that you are no better and no worse than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are just humans, and whatever your station in life is, but nobody has fucking decided that you are better or worse than them. So if you elevate someone yourself, you're basically being down upon yourself. You're going, oh, I'm lesser. You're like, You're not. Everyone has the potential to be the best, and we should bring everybody with us. Not put the boot on somebody and tell them they're lesser than us. That's not.
See, that's interesting to me, Darren, because what you just said there is, you're 100% right. I'm raised to believe you're no better, worse than everybody else. You've got the potential to do. It's up on you. It's up to you. You put in the hard work. You do this. You do. You're going to be fine. These people that are cheerleading this have clearly been raised from birth to believe that there's something special about these people, something that you and I fail to see at all. But these people themselves, the royals themselves, and the people of that class, they're raised from birth to believe that they're special. You and I are raised to believe that we could be special if we put in an effort. We've got every opportunity. Thank God we've got good health. We're intelligent enough, and if we want to, we can do well in life.
Yeah.
But the royals are told from birth that they are special just because they're born. And these other people are told that the royals are special just because they were born, but they believe it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they're believing because there are people there to back this up. If I grow up and I have a servant, I'm like, well, he serves me, so I must be more important than this man, and he's a working class person, so I must be a higher level. So that kind of thing, but
yeah, it really is. Yeah, that's fucking insane. It really is insane, and that's another thing as well from this. Camilla. She's now the Queen, right?
Did they have to change the law for that?
don't think they changed the law. I think they just broke their word.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong, but I know for sure that she was supposed to be the consort of the king. That was going to be her official title.
Yeah, queen consort.
Which was queen consort, which is basically another word for hoe, isn't it? And so she was going to be that, and this is why it was going to be okay, because she wasn't going to be the queen. But now she is the queen. They just went, no, we're going to make her queen. So they just let time pass. Everyone calmed down a wee bit and let her. She's now the queen. That's it. Off you go. You want to be queen for a bit? Aye, thanks.
I remember years ago when the Queen was still alive, people were talking about Charles was going to be so old by the time the Queen passed that there was discussions of just giving it straight to William and going, well, he's a young guy, he'll be around for a while. Maybe we'll just skip Charles altogether. There was actually talk about that.
There was, yeah.
So they obviously just went, no, because he's in his 70s now, so if he's king now, even if he sticks around for 20 years, if he lives the same age as his mother, then it'll be 20 years. But they're going to do this again. But it's a lot of people, I think, watching it today. Like, you're watching it out of some sort of weird, morbid curiosity. I have no fucking interest in watching this. There'd be a YouTube highlight video of this. It's modern day.
I'm watching it as a service to the people that subscribe to my podcast.
Of just the madness of it all. The Madness of King Charles. Remember the movie, The Madness of King George? The Madness of King Charles.
Yeah, absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I mean, I was explaining to, again, on the aborted live stream. So, did you know this? King Edward the First. This is around the 1200s, like 1280 or something.
Yeah.
He killed the Prince of Wales. So there was a Prince of Wales. There was a royal family over there.
I do know what you're going to say, yeah, but I know the story. But do tell, because it's fascinating.
No, if you tell it. You're the guest, and you probably know more than me.
Oh no, just the idea of where the idea of the Prince of Wales comes from.
Yes,
that was the people of Wales refusing to bow to the monarch unless the next person who was going to be king was identified as the Prince of Wales, because they were a rising people. They kept rising up against them.
Yes. So the king goes and kills the actual Prince of Wales.
Yeah.
And then he gives the title Prince of Wales to his firstborn son.
Yes.
And that is why Charles was the Prince of Wales. That's why, who's the next one? He's the Prince of Wales now.
Yeah, Prince William. So that's what the guy was. I just had to give it a quick Google there. The guy's name, it became Llewellyn the Last. So Llewellyn was the last person to rise up. But it was because of that, the actor Michael Sheen gave back his OBE. They made him an OBE, and then he's a Welshman. He found out about this, and he went and said, I can't take this honor from you because I'm Welsh. I'm not British. So he gave.
And he's a proud Welsh.
He does. He gives a great speech. He gives a great speech. It's on YouTube, and he talks for an hour about who speaks for Wales, and basically they're a small nation. Nobody fucking does. So
yeah,
he went. So he gave back his OBE because he said, I didn't know about this. Yeah. And then I found out that I'm supposed to be lesser because I'm from Wales. So it's one of the parts.
Very good.
Yeah, so.
Very good. Well, here's one for you now that you may not know. I got this from, I don't know if you follow these guys on the socials. Arlene Foster wrote an article, by the way, saying King Charles III is his own man and he's a good man. Sure, she knows him well. But here is an article on guys I follow. I'm pretty sure you might follow these guys as well. Mythical Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah, they're absolutely brilliant. I love these guys. So anybody's watching or listening to this, you should go and check these out. So here, so Westminster Abbey, right?
Yeah.
You've got the throne, that big throne that he sits on. That's not the actual throne, is it? Or is that like the bishop's seat in the church in the abbey? I'm not sure.
It's the throne that the coronation's on, because it's got the stone of Scone underneath it. So
that's what I'm going to get to. So it's the stone of Scone is underneath the throne. The stone of Scone is underneath the throne.
Very poetic.
in the abbey. So here's an article from Mythical Ireland. And this is written by a guy called Anthony Murphy, and he's brilliant. I love him. I'm not going to read it all because it's very lengthy, but I'll just give you the basic rundown of it. And I'm pretty sure you didn't know this because I didn't. Religion, racism, and propaganda. Why King Charles III will not be crowned on an ancient Irish stone. The story of Ireland's coronation stone, Leah Fall, the understone, or the stone that screamed under the rightful king, also known as the Stone of Destiny, is so tainted by the nonsense propagated by now check this out, the British Israelite movement, that even today lots of Irish people believe the true stories is the one on which, the true stone is the one on which King Charles of Britain will be crowned tomorrow. So successful were the religious zealots of the 19th century in promulgating the notion that the stone of Scone was in fact the real Leah Fall taken from Ireland, that there are many who doubt the authenticity of the somewhat phallic stone that stands at Anfora, the royal seat in the Hill of Tara today.
Okay.
So, yeah. So basically, I'll give you the basic rundown. These guys, you know how empire has a tendency, not a tendency, it has a built-in need to other and demean whoever it's going to basically take their country from them.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. These guys, in the othering of the Irish and the demeaning of the Irish, propagated this myth that Jeremiah, as in from the Bible,
yeah,
came to Ireland, and the stone, the Teofall, brought it with them. It was actually the pillow of Jacob, and it was and that the British monarch are descended from, or one of the Anglo-Saxons are one of the original tribes of Israel, and that the Irish were from the tribe of, is it Ben or Daniel or something like that, one of the tribes that is basically going to be banished. So it's a part of this othering of us, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they wrote this. That's it. The fact that the entire fabrication is indeed a form of white supremacist racist propaganda is demonstrated by the belief that some modern adherents of British Israelism, it's still a thing, that the Irish are descended from the tribe of Dan. I didn't realise that was actually a thing. I know a band called the Tribe of Dan. One of the original 12 tribes of Israel that won't, according to the book of Revelation, be sealed for deliverance in the final days. There's also belief that the Antichrist will emerge from the descendants of Dan.
Yeah,
so
that's feasible.
it's all doable. So he finishes up by saying, let's put to rest once and for all this distortion of this myth, history and scripture, which is at best fallacious and at worst a form of modern white supremacist propaganda and absurd, etc., etc. So there you go.
Right.
Isn't that fantastic?
So, Jesus Christ. So this is
We're
all
yeah.
See all that where they're on about this all going back and back and back. There's an even more modern story, which is nothing to do with all that, but the whole point of whenever they use, so the one of the debates today was what crown are they going to use, what scepter, what stolen jewels do we get to see today?
Yeah.
You know, all this stuff. So there's like the Star of Africa and all that. All these things are worth, they're fucking nearly priceless. They're hundreds of millions of pounds. They're stuck in a hat. Stupid. Give them back to the people you took them from, for fuck's sake. You probably pay to fix some of the social problems you left in those countries. Whenever the monarchy ended after the English Civil War, Oliver Cromwell ordered the crown jewels destroyed. Mm-hmm. So all the old crowns of, like Edward I and all that. So some of them get new crowns made. Some of them they would be crowned with the hat of the crown of their father and all this sort of stuff. Cromwell got destroyed all these. So the modern crown jewels are a modern thing that would have come from, they brought back Charles II onwards.
Uh-huh.
So the crown jewels were initially destroyed, but now they're displayed in the Tower of London and all that kind of stuff. But they got rid of them after the English Civil War. Now, so all the stuff you see now is all the stuff that came from the modern empire, which is, Rule Britannia from, the 1700s right up to, the middle of the 20th century.
Yeah.
That's all your stuff, your diamonds from Africa, your emeralds from India, all the stuff they took. Yeah. So it's mad because it's a big, people from the Commonwealth countries, and they're just like, all they're doing is displaying all the shit they took off you.
Well, exactly,
And
and
on TV.
they're rubbing it in your face.
Yeah.
It's interesting you should say that, because so the throne that he was sat on, that was over the throne over the stone of Scone.
You love saying that.
Yeah, I'm going to get it in another couple of times, I think.
Yeah.
The throne over the stone of Scone was actually all wood. It was, and the woman was saying it was like 700-800 years old. So it mustn't have been destroyed by Cromwell. It must have survived somehow.
Yeah.
And it didn't look as overly ornate. It was quite fancy, bit of wood carving and all the rest of it. But it was old. It was clearly very, very ancient. And it looked it. And it wasn't covered in gold and shit.
Yeah.
But everything else was. Like the sword that they gave him 3 swords. One represented justice and one represented faith, and it was all this ceremony and pomp and all. And that's another thing. I was watching the American feed, because this is ABC News that I've got on the screen. I wanted to hear what the Americans thought of it all, because I find their particular fascination with it more fascinating, such as it is, than the British.
Well,
I understand
to get rid of them. Do you know what I mean?
Well, exactly, and they can't seem to wait to replace that royal family with one of their own. It was the Kennedys in the past, and then it was they do elevate. Maybe it's a tendency in human nature to do so, but again, another version of royalty that would be acceptable if it was a thing that you had to do, would have been the way that the Irish used to do it. I think would be where you were elected from the clan, you were elected from the tribe, you were elected from the clan, and it wasn't hereditary. Bran Baru's son, if whatever, he didn't get to be the king after Bran Baru, for example. That's not the way that worked, because these people were genuine leaders, and they had to lead their people through fuck knows what sort of potential disasters, including war and everything ese.
Well,
so you're not going to elect a village idiot to do it.
I was going to say as well, Brian Boru is the last High King of Ireland. His son and his grandson were all killed at the Battle of Clontarf with Brian.
With Brian, yeah.
With Brian.
Well, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Of that, there used to be a thing. I remember listening to a brilliant Irish history podcast about the kings before the Normans, and because the whole thing about the Norman invasion of Ireland was all over a woman, where the King of Leinster basically went, "This other king has stolen my queen. King Henry, can you give me a hand to get her back?" Henry came over and was like, "Right, we're going to give you a hand." And then he looked around and went, "This is very nice. We might keep this ourselves." And it's been a fucking shit fight ever since.
Yeah. Okay.
But there was a whole thing years ago, and then the whole monarchy thing, and it happened in Ireland as well as with the monarchies all over the world, where if you became king, and let's say you were a second or third son, you better be mates with your older brother, because if he doesn't like you and when he becomes king, you're now a competitor.
Yeah.
So he'll fucking blind you, he'll kill you, he'll exile you.
Yeah.
So
I've seen Game of Thrones.
I know, but this is the idea. So that's why I thought it was mad. So in the modern era where Charles is king now, and I'm just like, oh geez, that was his excuse to get rid of Andrew. You're not part of this family anymore. That's you out. You haven't proven yourself.
Yeah.
And then the other brother who does fuck all, who nobody hears from. So
yeah,
Edward.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's why I was asking about the extended Danish royals. Do they have a role to play, or are they gainfully employed? Because these motherfuckers don't do anything, it seems to me.
They do state visits, and they actually help. Their jobs is to promote Denmark, so they travel around the world.
Well, that's what they would say they do.
Yeah, but the Crown Prince Frederick is married to an Australian woman. He met her at the Sydney Olympics when he was there promoting the country of Denmark.
Aye.
So he's married to a foreigner and a commoner. Shock horror.
Yeah.
But the people of Denmark are much more. They're just like, yeah, that's fine. Married for love. Not many of them get to do that.
No, well, okay, that's fair enough.
Well, yeah, so he's the Queen's uncle married for love, and he had to abdicate the throne because he married a divorcee from America.
That's right. Absolutely.
So Charles basically is the king now, but he could have just been a random royal. Like, it was only the whole thing. His grandfather became king because his brother didn't want to abdicate the throne.
Yeah.
because he wanted to. He didn't want to be the king. He was like, "You're the king. I don't want to be king. Fuck it, I'm out."
But this is where the God bit comes in, because then they say that that's God's divine will.
So we don't have freedom of choice then, because the whole thing is that God lets us decide ourselves.
You have the freedom of choice to worship these inbred Habsburgian motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, the one I thought was funny was somebody put up a post basically saying, you know, was King Charles and all his regalia, you know, with the arm up on the chaise lounge, sitting there with all his finery, and somebody basically put up saying, why can't all men look like this? And somebody commented underneath it, because our parents aren't cousins.
100. That's it. Yeah, that's 100. That's it. So on the screen, you can't see this, but on the screen is the bit I was telling you about, where they surround them. They're taking us. They're replaying. They're doing a fucking highlight reel. This is cute as fuck. So they're stripping. The bishops are stripping him down to his fucking big shirt, and he's going in behind the screen now to be anointed and have reveal his lizard face, as we spoke about at the start. But
I hope people listening to this don't realize that we're joking about that. I don't want us to be like a conspiracy theory podcast.
You might be joking.
Yeah, we're on to
them. No. So here's what we were saying about how much are the British crown jewels worth, and who gets them. So this is a good one.
Jesus, right?
Oh, really hear this. So this is there's a picture of Her Madge while she was still on this earth. As the world mourns the loss of Queen Elizabeth II, as some of the world mourns the loss, not all of it, who died at Balmoral Castle, blah, 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 questions about what will happen to the crown jewels, a dazzling collection of crowns. Even these words are funny. A dazzling collection of crowns, scepters, orbs.
Love an orb. I love an orb.
Oh, you love a good orb. Well, Prince or King Charles was presented with an orb, and one of the commentators on the news was saying that it actually it only has 3 continents on it. It was made when they didn't know there was more of the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking amazing.
Right.
So crowns, scepters, orbs, medals, and rings handed down by the British monarchs throughout history. Most notable were Queen Elizabeth II's tiaras, which she wore at state banquets, diplomatic receptions, and galas. My wife doesn't even have one tiara. I think that's outrageous.
Yeah. More tiaras,
more tiaras.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to mention where these jewels come from in this article? They might. Well, might get to it. Now that King Charles III is the new monarch, they will pass directly to him. Well, that's fair enough. He got a lot more than the jewels. He got the whole fucking country. What are the British crown jewels? The British crown jewels, the crown jewels of the United Kingdom symbolise the monarch's right and authority to sit on the throne. So if you own them, by implication, that's it. So if you steal them, they're yours. You're now in charge. Is that the way it is? So they are a collection of more than 100 royal ceremonial objects and more than 23,000 gemstones that have been acquired by English kings and queens, most since 1660. That's what you were saying.
Yep.
These crown jewels include regalia, blah blah blah. Right, you're repeating yourself, love. I love that they say they were acquired.
Acquired?
Yeah. They don't say how they were acquired.
Yeah.
So here, just hit one or two of these. We'll not go along with this. An almost priceless collection. The crown jewels are worth anywhere from 1.2 to 5.8 billion. And here are the most well known. St. Edward's crown. So that's the big crowny thing that it was put on his head. One of the most important pieces. Charles II, there you go, just as you said, commissioned the crown in 1661. It is made of nearly 5 pounds of solid gold, with more than 444 precious and semi-precious stones. The velvet cap wears an ermine trim and a diamond set cross pate, I think that is, sits atop a sphere at an intersection of the arches, and it is worth an estimated $57 million. It's fucking insane.
Or the price of a new cancer ward in your local hospital. You know,
Yeah.
let's have a fucking hat instead. 57 million would build you about 3 primary schools. Do you know what I mean? Oh, fucking hell.
No. Fuck off.
When you hear figures of stuff, it annoys the fuck out of me.
Jeez, don't what are you talking about?
It's a hat.
It's a nice hat. It's a nice. There's a nicer one here underneath it. Here, really see.
Right.
So this is. I think this is more of a day hat. The other one was like big, heavy, goldy, £5 of gold and all that. So this is the Imperial State Crown. This is more your day-to-day going to the shops hat. A monarch will wear this crown, which was placed on the coffin of the late Queen when leaving the Abbey. It is also appropriate for other state occasions. It remains to be seen whether Charles was... Now, this clearly is just because it's lighter. So people can see it on the screen there.
Okay.
It's extremely ornate. It looks like it's just made up of glued jewels. Versus the big gold fella just above that people can see it on the screen there, which is obviously not something you're going to be able to wander about in. So the Imperial State Crown it's a symbol of, so that he can go out to the balcony and wave to people with this on his head.
Right.
So that's what that is. And it was made for the coronation of the Queen's father in 1937. Today, jewellery experts estimate that the crown is worth a mere, you said figures annoy you, 3.4 to 5.7 billion.
That's one piece?
Yep.
Right.
That's one crown. That's it on the screen. You'll see it when you look back, if you do.
Genuinely fucking speechless. That is...
It was made for the coronation of Elizabeth's father, King George VI, in 1937, replacing the crown made for Victoria in 1838.
Yeah.
Jewellery experts estimate the crown to be worth a stunning 3.4 to 5.7 billion. Holy shit. That's insane. So here's the next piece. The sovereign's sceptre with cross. Now you're talking about putting... The other crown was peanuts compared to that thing.
Yeah, and that annoyed me.
And that annoyed you, and that's literal hospital building money.
Yeah.
Now that last motherfucker, that's fucking nation's wealth sort of money.
Yeah, that's somebody's GDP.
That's GDP money, exactly. Right. So here's the next one. Fuck. The sovereign's sceptre with cross. I think I should get a sceptre. I'd like a sceptre.
Looks like
the government of the... Yeah.
They look like a lot of
what?
Wouldn't bother.
A lot of polishing.
Clean the fucking thing. Waste of time.
Yeah. Dust. It looks like a dust catcher. It's all got angles and lumpy. The government of the Transvaal in South Africa gifted a spectacular African diamond of more than 3,000 carats to Edward VII as a birthday gift. Just reading this is hilarious. It's like something somebody fucking made up.
Yeah.
As a birthday gift in 1905, Amsterdam jeweler cut the diamond into significant smaller, 100 smaller brilliants, it's called. Bejeweled sceptre has been used in every coronation since Charles II in 1661. It weighs 3 pounds, is laden with 333 diamonds, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, other precious gemstones, etc., etc., etc. Get to the important... it also includes the Great Star of Africa, also known as the Cullinan.
This was the one they were saying maybe they weren't going to use it because it's what you would say, it's a contentious piece, because that was the one where the South African government, the colonial government, gave it away, and the people of South Africa said, "Who the fuck told you could give that away? Do you know how much money that's worth? Could have sold that and used it in the country."
Yeah, or put it in a museum and it made a tourist attraction out of it.
Yeah.
The largest clear-cut diamond in the world. The Cullinan one alone is worth an estimated $400 million. Considering the value of the gemstones, the scepter's worth several million more. You don't say. The Sovereign's Orb. Oh, is this the one that... I think this is the one that was... it's only a pittance at $290,000. Wouldn't even bother me arse talking about it. I'll go one more here. Well, the King Faisal diamond necklace. Famed jewellery. Harry Winston designed an 84-carat diamond necklace. Nazim, I can't even pronounce that. It doesn't give you. Oh, here. The Nazim necklace is estimated to be worth $76 million.
How many food banks would that stock or close? More importantly, if money was used for important social programs to help people get themselves on their feet. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to go. Well, I'm fucked off with this.
I know. Sorry, you're on your holidays. You're gonna have to go and fucking calm yourself. No, I think the point is, that it's that Connolly quote. The man who whose heart overflows for love of Ireland, and he can step over the poorest of people and doesn't. I think it's that. If you get rid of the monarchy, there's no point in getting rid of the monarchy if you're not going to. If you're just going to take on capitalism, there's no point. You have to do the other. You have to go the whole hog, and that is, you're right. These things could be put to far better use. Any rather than sitting on some spoiled fucking baby's head, some man baby's head, as a symbol of, wholly ordained power, which is fucking insane in and of itself. The money could be put to better use, but unless you put the institutions in place that are going to make sure that we don't need a food bank and that your local hospital isn't scrambling for fucking resources, which they all are. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, I'm on my holidays here in Denmark. Price of a pint's ridiculous, but that's because I'm visiting. If you live here and work here, you get paid well. Now, they pay some of the highest taxes in Europe, but as I said, they have free education, free healthcare, and everybody seems pretty chipper. They don't seem like they're an annoyed bunch, and they have a socialist government and a lady prime minister, and they have a figurehead monarchy, and they seem like they're doing all right.
Yeah.
So I mean, do we get rid of the royal family, or do we say you're cut off? You've got your own money, no more public money. Start paying fucking taxes, boys, and we'll see how we go from there. But it's the whole thing. It's really hard. It's very hard to, because I always try and say, live and let live. People do what they want. People believe different things. But when people are really pro royalty or pro monarchy, I'm just like, how do boost? How many boots can you lick? That you can't. John Hume said you can't eat a flag. You can't fucking live on the taste of boots, Heather. This is you try to be open minded and not get annoyed, but you're like, come on, have a bit of more work yourself.
It's not even real leather these days. You know what I mean?
That's true as well.
It's pleather.
Yeah,
that stuff's disgusting.
No, it's
You ever try to boil one of them? It's terrible.
Yeah. No, it's just weird, and the people that I waving flags. Like, I love waving a good flag, but it has to be in Crow Park at a football match. That's the only...
Well, exactly. That's exactly the point. That's what I'm doing here. You know what I mean? Ahead of I thought you'd have your Armagh hat on. That's why I was wearing it.
No, I'll have it with me though. I'll have the black one with me.
For the Ulster final.
Oh, I'm going. Don't worry, I'll be there.
But yeah. So listen, Darren, I know you're on your holidays, and I really do appreciate you taking the time out to come and be disgusted.
Thanks for bringing me on to just outrage me and then be like, on you go and enjoy yourself.
You'll be grand. You'll have a couple of pints within you in a few hours, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'll go now, and then you can go over and you can do your videos. But please do play that video I sent you, because it's fucking.
I'm literally going to do that right now. As soon as I'm done with you, as soon as you hang up, I'm going to put that video on, and then I'm going to pull the theme tune up. I'm going to let those fucking tools have the last word. No
problem. And it was lovely to chat to you. I'm sorry I didn't get your live stream on the go, but it's always good to see you, man.
I'll figure it out, but I do appreciate you taking the time to come and give us your insights. Appreciate it, mate. I'll have to do it again. Do it again real soon.
Yes, buddy.
Take care. Slán. There we go. Darren Matthews, what a legend. He's class. Love him, good guy. Go and check him out. Follow him on all the socials. Darren Matthews, comedian. He also runs and organises the Sunflower Comedy Club once a month, I think it is. up in Belfast. And when you see that advertised, do be quick. It sells out pretty much immediately, and for good reason. It's one of the best. There's a lot of good comedy clubs in Belfast, as you know, and it's one of the best. So, as I said, I'm going to finish with I'll put this on. Let me see now. Here we go. So Darren said to finish with this, so I'm going to do it. Well, I said I'll finish with this. He said to show it. So I'm going to finish on this. So this is the people that were outside. I wonder, should I actually bring this in? I'll bring it in the other one. This is the people that were outside the there, we'll do that one. Sorry, I'm fucking about here. This is the people that were outside the what do you call it, Buckingham Palace all week, camped out in all sorts of weather. Now they're mental. These people are clearly unwell, I think, and I wouldn't send them to the shop. I wouldn't let them walk my dog. So we're going to let these boys get the last word, and then we're going to shut her down. So thanks everybody for joining me on the podcast and the live stream. And again, I'm sorry about the live stream thing. I don't know what to do about it. I have checked every box and used every potential setting that I can think of to try and get it sorted, and I can't do it. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to live stream. I'm sure I can. I must be able to. I mean, it's not beyond. I've got a lovely big computer. I have a big, beautiful iMac sitting here, a big 27-inch thing. It's huge. I use it mostly for recording work, but it should be able to handle this. It can. It's very infuriating. It literally drove me mental there. And again, I thank Darren for coming in and pulling me out of a hole, because I was ready to just give up. And then Darren sent me the message here. I'm ready to go on here if you want to do it. So that's how that ended up. How you ended up with this. So listen, check this out. I think I'm going to stop this, aren't I? I'm not going to finish. I'm not going to let this play right the whole way through. I'm going to stop this. Okay, let's go.
Do you think that Prince Andrew's done damage to the royal family?
I don't think so. Having said that, I think it's the same. The royal family's been the same all through history, hasn't it? It's just that now people like you and the media cover it more.
So it's the media's fault that Prince Andrew's a nonce. That's
spotlight everything. So I think he's just probably been born in the wrong era.
He's right. He was born in the wrong era, because if he had been born, well, any other era, he would have got away with this.
Andrew was my favourite royal, so my husband just laughing, just said, you know how to pick them.
What are your thoughts about Prince Andrew coming to the coronation? Do you think that he should come?
Prince Andrew is his brother. He's never been found guilty in a court of law.
She's a Canadian.
And I think just because he's settled civil suits doesn't necessarily imply guilt. It can be, I want to get this out of the press, especially with my mother being elderly and upsetting her, because it's, not a comfortable topic.
With everything that's gone on, I can see why he should be there, because it's his brother, but at the same time, I would put him, in the back row.
Him being your favourite royal, has that changed?
Well, I was just thinking, come on man, put your act together. It's just, don't embarrass the family. It's just, you've got a role to play. You should play.
Don't embarrass the family. He wasn't caught drunk outside a nightclub in Essex. He was accused of sex trafficking and being a raper. This is insane. They paid, what was its figure, $12 million to the woman to buy her silence. They didn't do that for nothing. Come on.
Families are families, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, my family's full of rapists and paedophiles and sex offenders, because that's normal. You get that everywhere. My family isn't, by the way. I
think in every family around the world, there's no real normal, and I think they're going to have to navigate it, aren't they, with the best they can, really.
And what about Prince Harry coming in?
No comment.
I don't believe after everything Harry's done, he has a place here. And even...
Yeah, he's the problem. Prince Harry's the problem. Not the paedophile. Prince Harry's the problem. I'm not defending Prince Harry. In fact, I resent sounding like I am. I'm not. He should go too.
Even though he's coming, I don't think that he's coming for the right reasons. I think it contributes to the victim narrative. So, no, I don't think he has a place here. He'll take away from the day.
But do you think that Prince Andrew deserves a place, but Harry doesn't?
Yes. Andrew's never turned on his family. Harry's turned on his family. And I think once you've said and done certain things, it's not an easy road back. And Andrew's never spoken out against his family. Not that I'm aware of.
I think the media that I've seen have almost put Andrew and Harry in the same camp, and I find that quite bad taste actually, considering Harry, all he's done is, moved house essentially, and totally different to Prince Andrew.
I mean, Prince Andrew has kind of kept quiet as much. He's made some big errors, but I think, especially with some of his interviews or car crashes, but I think he's not attacking his own family. And I think people lose respect for someone who are revealing private details, no matter what family.
No, he's not. He's not.
Whether you're public or not, no one wants you going out and airing dirty laundry, and I think that's the difference. So
he's not attacking his own family, and that is the most important thing. Even more important than being a rapist. Statutory rapist at best. Still rape.
I think he'll be better received than Harry is.
Would you not think that maybe some of the allegations against him have been quite damaging to the royals?
I don't think to the royals. I think to himself personally. I think aside from just embarrassing the family, I don't think it's, to me, it doesn't damage the way that I view Charles or Anne or William, so I say no. But it's not a good look for him, is it?
Where the fuck do they find these people?
So would you say that Harry's done more damage in that respect?
Definitely, definitely. He said things that we have a saying, you can't unscramble an egg. He's said and done things that are there forever. Very damaging to his dad, his brother. It's not nice what he's done. Even if you believe a little bit of what he says, it's not nice. He has no place here. And especially after you've accused the entire population of Britain of being racist. You have no place here. Not to me.
That's fucking staggering, isn't it? Thanks to Darren Matthews for that, and Tony Girvin as well, who drew my attention to this. These people will close the door on the oven behind you. There's no doubt about it. That is staggering, literally fucking breathtakingly staggering. They just one is an accused raper, and one fell out with his mum and dad. His dad. They're not the same. So that's me. Listen, again, thanks again to Darren Matthews for saving my ass, for doing this for me. I really appreciate it. Sorry for everybody with the live streaming issues. Again, I don't know what to do about that. If someone knows, come around here and fucking show me. I cannot figure it out. I'm hoping to talk this week to Jerry Carroll from People Before Profit. As you know, there's an upcoming local election, just as our English brethren had, and we gleefully saw the Tories getting their asses kicked. They lost a lot of seats. Still a huge party though. Still, it wasn't the runaway train of a hiding that some are suggesting, to my eyes anyway. So I'll get a talk to Jerry Carroll and we'll discuss that and discuss our own election coming up in the next couple of weeks. So let's So that's me. I'm done. Thanks again. Toodles. Take care. I'm going to put this on again. You can watch it.
Do you think that Prince Andrew's done damage to the royal family?
I don't think so. Having said that, I think it's the same. The royal family's been the same all through history, hasn't it? It's just that now people like you and the media cover it more and spotlight everything. So I think he's just probably been born in the wrong era.
Andrew was my favourite royal, so my husband just laughing, just saying, you know how to pick them.
What are your thoughts about Prince Andrew coming to the coronation? Do you think that he should come?
Prince Andrew is his brother. You know, he's never been found guilty in a court of law. And I think just because he's settled civil suits doesn't necessarily imply guilt. It can be, I want to get this out of the press, especially with my mother being elderly and upsetting her, because it's, you know, not a comfortable topic.
With everything that's gone on, I can see why he should be there because it's his brother, but at the same time, I would put him, you know, on the back row.
Him being your favourite royal, has that changed?
Well, I was just thinking, come on man, put your act together. It's just, don't embarrass the family. It's just, you've got a role to play, you should play it.
Families are families, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in every family around the world there's no real normal, and I think they're going to have to navigate it, aren't they? With the best they can, really.
And what about Prince Harry coming?
No comment.
I don't believe after everything Harry's done, he has a place here. And even though he's coming, I don't think that he's coming for the right reasons. I think it contributes to the victim narrative. So, no, I don't think he has a place here. He'll take away from the day.
But do you think that Prince Andrew deserves a place, but Harry doesn't?
Yes. Andrew's never turned on his family. Harry's turned on his family. And I think once you've said and done certain things, it's not an easy road back. And Andrew's never spoken out against his family. Not that I'm aware of.
I think the media that I've seen have almost put Andrew and Harry in the same camp, and I find that quite bad taste actually, considering Harry, all he's done is, you know, moved house essentially, and you know, totally different to Prince Andrew.
I mean, Prince Andrew has kind of kept quiet as much. He's made some big errors, but I think, you know, especially with some of his interviews or car crashes, but I think he's not attacking his own family. And I think people lose respect for someone who are revealing private details, no matter what family you have, whether you're public or not. No one wants you going out and airing dirty laundry, and I think that's the difference. So I think he'll be better received than Harry is.
Would you not think that maybe some of the allegations against him have been quite damaging to the royals?
I don't think to the royals. I think to himself personally. I think aside from just embarrassing the family, I don't think it's, to me, it doesn't damage the way that I view Charles or Anne or William, so I say no. But it's not a good look for him, is it?
So would you say that Harry's done more damage in that respect?
Definitely. Definitely.